It was.
I know that voice. All right. Well, I was going to start with some, joke about how there was a death in music, but it's actually the end of our Winging It musical intro. Poor taste, though, because we've also lost Takeoff in kind of shocking fashion. So what should we start with, guys? I mean,
Wait, we're getting rid of the musical intro for Winging It?
so here was my thinking. It's like, I know it's hype, it's great, but it's like, so much of podcasting is skipping through it, right? And it's like, that's the same thing every time, but it's like, I feel like we got to get to the point, right? I feel like that's what most people are looking for, even in a YouTube video, right? Because I keep it there too. And it's like, what are people just going to stare at the logo for 30 seconds without clicking ahead, to see what we're talking about?
That's true. It is super, that's one of the most catchy little tunes.
It is so catchy. You're doing it in the shower, it's Wednesday. But we also did rip off a song. So that's the other thing where it's like, once we blow up, is this gonna bite us in the ass at some point?
Well, Pardon My Take does they do at the beginning, they do Electric Avenue, and then at the end they do Take On Me.
So they still hold that for their I haven't checked their YouTube videos out.
I don't know for their YouTube videos. I know on their podcasts.
That's interesting. All right. So maybe we'll leave it for that and just eliminate it for the viewing audience. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's settled. Good. And bonus if you comment and you know which song we ripped off. If you know that as well, because it's fire. Takeoff. I mean, what the hell happened? And I felt like it was almost too normalized. We kind of just moved on. It was like, oh, this happened again to another rapper.
Yeah, we're desensitized to it now.
Bingo.
I feel like over the past few years, more musical artists, rappers in particular, have been getting murdered.
Yeah. And it's like, how is this not a bigger deal? Why are we not investigations, where it's not just local police?
Growing up, when we were in middle school and high school, we didn't really hear about famous rappers getting murdered too often. But I think now what it is, it's legitimately people clout chasing almost. I think now that social media is so big, just knowing they can get their name. I mean, it's a stupid fucking way to get your name out there, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what else would cause such a dramatic increase over the course of the past few years.
Well, and the thing that how Brendan was saying, we're desensitized to it, not discrediting anyone else, but out of all the people that have passed away from getting murdered, Takeoff is by far the one I listen to the most. And I'm not even I'm not entirely as shocked as I feel like I should be,
and Migos, that was almost our college years, right? That's huge. I felt like that would have been a bigger deal. I would argue Takeoff the best Migo, so rest in peace. But it was it was Tupac and Biggie kind of before us, right? Mm-hmm. And then we had Drake and Kanye. Look where that's there wasn't much. There was just more wackiness going on there, as we see with Kanye. But yeah, now it's kind of like you said it. Yeah, PNB Rock. I think it kind of started with XXX Tentacion, right? And then because I feel like that was the one where I was like, holy crap, that dude just got shot up outside his really expensive car. Mm-hmm. And then PNB Rock, and then so what I feel like we weirdly haven't heard enough about this either, where it's it was a dice game. Why haven't we heard more from Quavo, who was there?
He got shot too, I think. Quavo.
Okay, really? Wow.
Yeah,
I thought they were all broken up though, or is that
so? Quavo and Takeoff were still together.
He just made an album a month ago.
Yeah, they had kind of split up from Offset.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And then Offset, I mean, imagine I saw a tweet where it's Offset didn't get to write the, kind of make it up with his family, before it was too late. Deion Sanders came out and apparently they're playing in Houston, and he's locking his team in the hotel, because he's afraid of them going out, I guess, and then maybe even in this dice game. Who's playing dice? Why is it so high stakes? I don't understand that either.
I mean, it's always been definitely more a rapper thing.
Yeah.
Shooting dice. But it's just such a they were at a bowling alley too. What a just a pointless way. It's sad. Just a pointless death. There's no reason for it.
And just like that. And then it's part of the news cycle. We're on to the next day, which is so sad.
It's also crazy that we've listened to them for so long, and I didn't even realize. I thought they were definitely a little bit older, but he's only 28. That's
He's my
crazy.
age.
Yeah.
And I had it wrong when we were chatting this up about the news because so Quavo is his uncle, and so how's Offset related to? Is he with?
Cousin, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's a cousin or something.
So is Quavo in his 40s or like maybe like mid 30s?
No, I think it was one of those situations where it's his nephew, but they're basically like the same age.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Gotcha.
he's probably a few years older.
Like
Yeah.
my dad has nieces and nephews that are older than him because he was
Right.
So like I'm
Yeah.
sure that's kind of what they're.
Quavo's 31. I just looked it up.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. All right. Elon takes over Twitter. Is this dude about to pay off the entire deal with this move? $20 a month. He's taken away the blue check marks. Okay, where are we at on this? News on Elon. He walks in with a sink to Twitter headquarters. He's laying off employees. He's laying off, the brass, the executives. New
So
sheriff.
last I saw was $8, but is it only for the blue check mark? And if so, like, why?
I think so. Yeah, that's the last I read. My thoughts on it is that there's so many. I don't want to call people idiots, but idiots out there who will 100% pay for that. Number one, just to be verified. So number one, he's going to make a shit ton of money with that. Number two, I think it's him trolling all these accounts that are like the verified news outlet or mainstream outlet. And he's basically saying, well, guess what? Like anyone can be fucking verified. I think that's what I think he's doing.
Yeah. You nailed it. You nailed it right on the head. I've got some research here. It's going to blow your mind. First of all, he takes Twitter private. He delists them from the New York Stock Exchange. That was kind of planned. So I basically randomly became liquid. Too bad we're just getting crushed left and right still. But it's like, okay, so yeah, it is a good question, Brendan, because it's like, who would pay for that? There are currently 424,000 people who are verified on Twitter. And like you said, so $8, $20 a month. Who's going to pay for that? Oh, do you think it could either turn the verified blue check mark worthless, right? And everyone's like, fuck that, we're out. Or, you're going to get those people who care so much about that online social identity that simple blue check mark gives you, that they're going to be like, $8 a month, that's fine. Here's some numbers for you. Let's say half of these people do whatever. I did it at $20 a month, which is kind of crazy, but still 424,000 people. Let's say half do it, $20 a month. That's 50 mil per year. Is he going to get close to paying off buying Twitter by just coming up with different ideas of how to monetize it? Because it's not, let's say 25,000 people do this. That's still 6 million in a year of just additional revenue like that from coming up with this. Now it's like, is it a good bet, or are people going to care less about the verified check mark? Rat verified was trending number one today, where you just put the rat emoji next to your profile. Is that next?
That's next. That's next up. I think you can run into the issue though of like people who like just don't like, high profile people who don't like Elon for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So they're going to say, fuck you, I'm not paying the $8 per month, just as a middle finger to him, even though they can afford it. And then there's going to be a bunch of accounts that are going to be imitating those high profile people. And you could potentially run into the issue of you don't know who's actually who.
Well, I'm even thinking like blog sites or like, DraftKings, like, are they going to want to keep that blue check mark just so people know, hey, this is because they like part of their business model all of a sudden is being, and they had the tweet. Did you? Yeah, you sent that. They had the wrongful tweet of the night where they were talking about Nick Castellanos and made light of Takeoff's passing. But did you guys send that to me?
I did.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's. That's why I think it's a lot of trolling, in my opinion. Is like just because like he's like, all right, well, if you guys are the verified ones, then like.
And I like it is that like, hey, you have the power to, if you really care about this, you could pay for it.
Because last night, AOC tweeted, LMAO at a billionaire earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an $8 a month subscription plan, which is completely like rewording that in my opinion, because you can still tweet whatever you want. It's just for the check mark.
Exactly.
And then an hour ago, he responded to her and said, "Your feedback is appreciated. Now pay $8."
He's gone savage mode since taking over. He's like, the bird is freed. He's he's doing all this different stuff. He literally goes, he tweets, "If I had $1 for every time someone asked me if Trump's coming back on the platform, I'd pay off Twitter." I mean, it's hysterical. So should we get the check mark? A little business expense there?
Yeah.
I said I might want it for as much as I tweet at Chipotle. If they see a blue check mark and they might just give me free Chipotle for life. That's fine.
The whole landscape is good. Yeah, you're gonna show up in their verified mentions all of a sudden. They were like, "What the fuck?"
We're gonna partner.
Yeah, we're about to. That shit's hysterical. So we'll keep an eye on it. How about just like, isn't it weird to think about if you were just, if you're a Twitter exec, you're probably waking up every morning thinking your job is just safer than shit. And all of a sudden and a billionaire just wants to buy out your company. And all of a sudden you got to be thinking about your next step in your career.
Yeah. So did they get severance packages? Because I've heard both sides that they didn't get anything. And I've heard sides that they did get a lot of money.
I have not heard.
I bet, or actually, I don't know, because I actually know what you're talking. I read.
Depends how the contracts were written up, right?
Because here's the thing: they have to agree to the deal, and they're not going to fucking agree to it without having some sort of severance package for themselves.
Right? They're not going to be like, I don't think California is an at-will employer. Where they could just terminate you with 30 days notice.
Yeah, I read that he found a loophole to not give the CEO his shit, but who knows?
And like some of the titles where it's like, if he was letting to go, it's like, okay, that's just to give someone a job.
Why did he carry a sink in though? I didn't.
he literally did it for the joke because he tweeted out like, "Elon's here, let that sink in." And he walked in with an actual sink. I mean, it's just corny like that.
He literally I won't read it all, but he literally just tweeted some funny ass like 4th thing meme with like that face mocking AOC's tweet.
Oh, he's great at memes. I was just dying before we hopped on here. So the fantasy chat, this dude was the king of memes. Rob Lang was just on one this week. He was like, it was the dude with the jacked arm. He was like, me signing in Wednesday morning to see if anyone's available after I missed waivers. Jacked arm as fuck. All right. Well, speaking of money and potential, what do we just say? Not severance, but Jesse from Nelk. He kind of he started a new company. I just found it interesting because I didn't start following Nelk or knowing them about more until the podcast kind of dropped, and then I kind of, it was like a party channel, a prank channel. Now they're just, obviously dipping their toe into all different sorts of business. It was interesting how that, so like, I don't really know Jesse. This was like pre-Jesse stuff for Nelk, and it was like he kind of talked about how it started as Friday, a big party channel. Saturday was like full send, do it even harder the second day, and now he started his own company Sunday. And it's like, was this because he said it was his next step in his life? He's apparently sober now. Like, he had to have gotten an absolute bag because I think he still gets a part of the merch, the podcast brand. But I didn't really know of Jesse in Nelk, but I assume this was probably one of the bigger breakups of the last 5 to 7 years.
I don't really know who Jesse is. I think I know who you're referring to, but is he the guy that people kind of don't like? Jack, go ahead.
So he hasn't been like really involved in anything like since we all kind of like with the podcast. The dude who everyone doesn't like on the podcast is fucking Steiny.
Oh, that's fun.
And it was Bob Menery.
That dude, Steiny fucking blows. But Jesse, apparently, because I looked into it because I was curious too. Apparently, him and Kyle are like homies from Canada, from like
right, and they started Nelk together 7 years ago.
So like Jesse was like one of the originals, and then he got like sober or whatever, and like basically told. And Kyle never says anything bad about him. He literally says like, like, he helped me build this shit, and
he wanted to do his own thing, and it was just the party channel wasn't his thing, I guess.
Yeah, he's in a different chapter of his life being sober, so like all is good. So I'm sure they gave him some sort of money, but it's nothing like the Bob drama or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was just kind of like, the video was 20 minutes long because half of it was like him talking about what went on, and then half of it was talking about his new company. You know, it's like I got Dude Perfect vibes. You know, all of a sudden this guy's in a warehouse. There was a 60-year-old man sitting at a computer. I was like, what is this guy's job? I'm like, what is this guy's job at this company Sunday all of a sudden? But like, you know, it was just like he's just basically a content creation company, but he's also like envisioning and writing for other people, taking meetings. That was fascinating. I didn't know Full Send had a physical building either. Like the start of the video was a construction company ripping off the signs like of the building. Interesting though. Yeah. Okay. It's short and sweet episode this week. I'm running out of content to watch. I made like a freaking, like during COVID, I think I made an IMDb watch list of like, all right, I haven't seen this. I got to at least check it out, give it a chance. And The Offer was great. Jack, shout out to you. Fantastic. It was great. I mean, fantastic acting. It made me want to rewatch The Godfather as a movie.
I just recently rewatched those. They're so good.
Holds up. Yeah.
I told Brendan after he rewatches those, we've got to watch The Offer. I'll rewatch it with him.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great.
That's next on my list. I just watched The Watcher. Worst TV show I've seen in a long time.
Oh, did the ending?
Even regardless of the ending, I think it just sucked. It was so corny.
I'm also kind of sifting through, like, I'll give you like an episode. I'm like, if this is The Handmaid's Tale was on my list. I started watching an episode. I was kind of just like, really, do I want to get into this right now when I know it kind of tails off at the end, even if it is superb? I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea, but you know what also wasn't either was Waco, the limited series with the guy from Friday Night Lights. I mean, it was just like, it's like, all right, I get it. You know, this is a weird cold shit, but did you find that good, Jack?
That's one I've tried, and I didn't really make it past the first couple episodes.
No, exactly. Some of those you can't make, but The Offer was one of those that it was great from the get-go. I loved it. I'm kind of like, I'm not even watching a show. I'm watching 30 for 30s back through all the volumes now is what I'm having to go through. It's kind of brutal. And then I went until the final episode of Atlanta airs so I could binge the final season. Here's some movie suggestions as I'm running out of those too. I watched American Assassin with Michael Keaton and Dylan O'Brien. It's like it was given a 6 out of 10. I kind of enjoyed it. Like it was a 7 out of 10 for me. Like just if you just want kind of like an action picture with decent halfway acting, kind of cheesy story, but Michael Keaton's in it and he's fantastic. Easy watch. Little bit more powerful. I'm almost done with Hotel Rwanda with Don.
Oh, I just watched that.
Yeah.
No, wait. I'm thinking. Never mind. I'm thinking of something else. No, I've seen Hotel Rwanda though.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. Like it's sad. It's really fucking sad, but it's like it's good.
Was that made in like the 90s or?
I think like early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Okay.
I've never seen it, but I heard it's really good.
Yeah, pretty good. And then, but like on contrary to that too, a movie I give like 25 minutes. I'm like, The Grand Budapest Hotel.
That's what I was thinking about.
Okay. Yeah. You loved it, you said?
Loved it. Yeah, you didn't like it?
I mean, I was kind of like, hey, you know, that's the thing too. I'm in the lab. I'll throw a movie on. I'm like, all right, I'll give it another go. I don't know. Apparently, it was like,
it's just a feel good sort of movie. I think it's kind of cheesy, but I liked it.
I like it too, but you also have to. Like Wes Anderson, the dude who makes all those movies.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Is it like one of those where like you have to find the guy who made who's that guy who made I'm drawing a blank, sorry. Like
he's like known for his movies being like super quirky.
Right. It's a specific taste.
Yeah. Like so he made that movie with Bill Murray where they're like at some like camp or something. That's like recently. I forgot what it's called. But I
was thinking of Aaron Sorkin, where everyone's like, you know, he overwrites the shit out of everything, where it's like, you know, it has to be one of those things where you have to enjoy it. All right. So hopefully some more content coming with the Tea with Jack D and his picks as well as we wrap up here on Wingin' It.
All right. So Jack Dorsey is beta testing a new social media network. I did not know he was continuing that. It's called Blue Sky.
You like what is I guess none of us really saw TikTok coming, where it's like if you said something with started as dancing, evolved into what it is today, you know, where it's almost taking over other apps. Like what is next? Be Real's huge. Is that still kind of holding weight?
Yeah. Yeah. I have some beef with them lately though, because their times they go off are either super late or just like while we're at work. But it's
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Um, the park people were pretty pissed about this. The Parkland school shooter was sentenced to life without parole, but he's like in Florida and they have the death penalty, and everyone was like, he for sure should have gotten the death penalty.
Yeah. No,
So,
interesting.
yeah. I mean, Kanye just talks to talk now. How Kyrie just got in that shit for the anti-Semitic stuff.
Can we talk about what the hell the Nets are doing? Who their new coach is?
Yeah, Ime Udoka.
The dude from the Celtics, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dude's like, you know what'll go great with our anti-Semitic backcourt? The guy who does not do well in the workplace.
Yeah, it was like, not to go on sports too much, but like, were you expecting Steve Nash to get fired, Dylan? Or
I mean, he was terrible, and even the hire from the get-go was kind of like, wait, what? Why did like Steve Nash literally skip the line of so many more credible African American coaches, and like it was a poor hire from the get-go, and yeah, so they're 1-6 this year. Like, yeah, something had to happen. The GM was probably trying to save his ass.
Kyrie drops 4 points last night.
Oh, he looked disinterested. Like he does, like he could retire tomorrow.
As I throw my final bet leaving a legal state, and I get on the plane with no Wi-Fi and get off, and Kyrie's at 0 points in the third quarter.
Brutal.
Yeah, KD claims he was shocked by the fire, but I don't buy that for a minute.
No, right.
Yeah. Oh, but back to the point. Kanye said there's still some real ones out there about Kyrie. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
yeah. And we're thankful that our president of Donda Sports is still with us, Antonio Brown, another real one.
I forgot that they like hang out, or he's like that picture that went viral when it was him and Julia Fox.
Yeah, no, the video of them hanging out. Yeah. And everyone looked like they were rolling sack.
Yeah.
Drake and 21 Savage album has been pushed back. It will drop this Friday. It was supposed to drop last Friday.
Did we ever kind of come to a means end of whatever happened with him not being a U.S. citizen? Is he back in the U.S.? Like, didn't he get deported?
Yeah, I think he's good now.
Yeah, okay. That kind of disappeared.
That was a great day on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drake has served fake Drake a cease and desist. The dude who goes around and just who kind of like, I don't even think he looks that much like him, but there's people who go to the street, up to him on the street, and literally think it's him. But
I just thought the same of not looking. It looked like an older version of Logan Paul's doppelganger,
like
or whatever.
A meth addict of Logan Paul.
Look like an oldest guy.
Yeah. But yeah, Drake said he can't use anything OVO or like anything to like profit off.
Have I ever talked about how I've been to an OVO store? Have either of you been? It's kind of it left a little bit to be desired. I went to one in Vancouver. I was like, me and Ian were literally like just on a walk. I was like, is that the fucking OVO store? I'm like, we have to go in there. It was like, there was one rack of just like, you couldn't find one thing of the same thing, just all different designs. And I was like, I don't know if I can get myself to, I wanted to, I couldn't find anything.
Were they expensive?
Relatively. It wasn't like I mean, I would have dropped something just to say I had something there, and I couldn't get myself to do it. So I guess, yeah, Tad.
More Kanye. Him and Andrew Tate are gonna collab pretty soon.
Oh Lord.
So
all right, that'll be interesting.
Elon fired the execs.
How about Twitter headquarters? Like, when did that Twitter first popped off in 2007? Was it 2004? Like, when do you think they were like, you know what, let's fucking go, state of the art headquarters, coffee bar,
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
Not sure.
Probably right back around then.
Yeah.
This is insane. Some dude won the $30 million lottery in China. I didn't even know they had the lottery in China.
How about that?
And he claimed the costume wearing a mascot suit so that his wife and children wouldn't become rich and lazy. So that he claims he's not telling them that he won it.
How'd he play?
Yeah. Okay, $8. Yeah, for verification. Now on to.
So is that going to be just Twitter Blue, or do you think he's going to rename it, or literally just be the verification charge?
Yeah, I think it'll be something like Twitter like Plus or Twitter Blue or something like that.
Yeah.
You can just.
I mean, that's what I'm super intrigued about is like he didn't just buy Twitter just to buy Twitter. I mean, maybe he did, but I think he bought it because he knows so many different ways that he's going to be able to just like make money. But then again, what's interesting too is like you see Bo Burnham went viral like today for like a clip he's talking about.
I saw that.
Where it's like as soon as these companies went public, they're literally just have to keep expanding, so they're going straight to the consumer in every ounce of your mind, with targeted ads and whatnot. But it's like, what if he took it private? Can he stay stagnant? Is it just a toy for him? But I think he's going to actually have some of these ideas, which is like, wait a second, why did no one think of this before?
Yeah. Do you see he said, should I bring back Vine?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Should he? I mean, dude, wait, hold on. Like, what do you think Nick Coletti thinks of like Bryce Hall? Because those guys got to be like the Spider-Man meme, like in between generations, like a decade apart. Because they like, where's you think Nick Coletti wants Vine back? Is all of a sudden
I listen to Nick Coletti's podcast sometimes, and he likes TikTok a lot.
Yeah. I follow him. He's still funny, but he wasn't like, I mean, he was a sensation on Vine.
Yeah, but he talks about I don't think he's ever specifically brought up Bryce Hall, but he has said before, like, a lot of these guys get like a lot of hate. Some of them actually seem kind of cool. Yeah. He speaks his mind on it whenever like his co-host brings it up, but he's never brought up like Bryce Hall or Josh Richards or anything like that.
Yeah.
Bryce Hall had I thought is kind of a savage TikTok.
Was it of Logan Paul?
Yeah.
It was the clap. It was so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. That was okay. I don't know what this show is. It might be a video game. The Last of Us.
Bro, it's a video game. This is going to be so sick. I am so hyped for this. Yeah.
HBO is releasing it. January 15th.
And it's a great video game, by the way. The older one I enjoyed more.
Sorry, it was Be Real Time. I was getting you on there.
See, I'm not hip on it yet. I've stayed away, but I know it's gone crazy.
Okay, for suggestions, I'm deep into Suits. I'm loving Suits.
Nice. I'm gonna have to give that another go then.
Over the weekend, I'd seen the documentary before, and it's literally crazy. Like the documentary is called Abducted in Plain Sight. And it's about this neighbor who literally like becomes close with this family and like kidnaps, like basically like grooms their like 12-year-old daughter and then ends up kidnapping her and like marrying her in Mexico. And it's fucking insane. And Peacock just came out with a TV show of like recreating it where like Colin Hanks plays the dad, and like it was actually like really good. It's like an 8-episode thing. And then I didn't get to watch it, but there's a movie that just came out on Netflix with Girl from Molly's Game, and it's called The Good Nurse, and it's based on this true story about this like male nurse who literally like thought he was doing people a service and was like killing like people like who were in hospital beds, like putting shit in their medicine. And it was like a huge thing in America, and they're about to come out with like an actual documentary about it on Netflix next week. So I'm looking to watch that.
I think I saw Kelsey watching it. I'll have to ask her how it is. It's with the dude from Fantastic Beasts, right? Too also, or Eddie Raymond.
Yeah, he also plays Stephen Hawking in a movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? Eddie Raymond or something like? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's my suggestions.
Good stuff. I'm gonna give Suits another go. That's perfect. What I need right now is just kind of a bingeable thing that isn't 30 for 30 films. All right, good to get
you don't have to pay attention like too hard to Suits.
Right. No, I love those. Billions was kind of like it too. Yeah. It was like it's great to kind of follow along, but some of the episodes is like, all right, you get it. He's gonna do something crazy to follow along in his job. Good stuff. All right, appreciate it, fellas. We'll talk to you next week.